Clock. Call the meeting to order. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment, for a moment of silence. Okay. So we have item D, new business, discussion and reconsideration of a request by Rhode Island Energy, Narragansett Electric, and Verizon New England, Inc. to install a new JOP8 and P6 pole on Shannock Hill Road. Petition number WR number 30991420.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve the request.
Well, hold on.
What?
Mr. President, it would be a motion to reconsider. So there's two
Yes.
parts. First would be the motion to reconsider, and the second would be the motion to approve or deny.
Mr.
Okay.
President,
Let's do one at a time, please.
motion to reconsider. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did you want to have a discussion, Mr. President?
Any
Does anybody have
discussion?
any questions? Anybody want to talk
Any
about?
questions?
Could you, Mr. Zangari, fill us in why this is back on the agenda, which your rationale is partly, basically going over the discussion you had with me on the phone?
There was, at the last meeting, there was, 2 meetings ago, there were certain polls that were voted on. I think there was confusion about whether or not these particular polls had previously been approved or not. These are 2 new polls on Shannock Hill Road. These 2 polls, for some reason, were not part of the applications by Rhode Island Energy. These are applications by Rhode Island Energy. For whatever reason, they weren't given to the clerk and they weren't before you. So again, these are polls that are being asked for placement by Rhode Island Energy, not by some other entity, strictly Rhode Island Energy on Shannock Hill, not in any other street, right? For two specific polls. Does anybody have any question about who the applicant is?
No.
And why they're asking for this?
These are actually on the road. They're not on the.
That's correct. They're on the right.
Right.
So you have the discretion to approve them.
Okay.
They're on town property, the public right of way.
You also, going through the president, you actually mentioned that it would have been a real sticking point that it could have been a lawsuit to the town by not approving these.
Potentially, yes.
You said
Because
$10 million because
There are
of,
certain tax credits that I have, it's my understanding that a certain developer that is not part of this application, if there is not a connection to Rhode Island Energy, will lose out on certain tax credits. That's the representation made. That's been not by this applicant, but by a different person, different company. This applicant, and Mr. Watson, I believe, was going to be here. I don't know if he's come in yet.
He's here.
Oh, Mr. Watson is here as well. I confirmed with him, that was his understanding as well. These tax credits may be at risk, which may result in potential exposure to the town. The degree of that and merits of that, can't really comment on, but there's a potential exposure there as well. So yes.
So they need these poles to be installed in order for them to make their connection?
I don't know if they need these particular poles, but these poles, is my understanding, Mr. Watson can also comment, and that's why he's here, that these may be integral to that connection. Mr. Watson?
Hi, good evening, George Watson, Carter Robinson Cole, One Financial Plaza, Providence, Rhode Island.
nice to meet you in person. It's
Yeah,
right on the
it's-
screen behind me.
It's good to see everybody. This is cozy. So right now, if you were to drive down the street, I believe there's one pole that's existing on that side of the street. What they're doing is they're bringing the line. As you drive down the street, sometimes you'll notice a distribution line will zig and zag to retention and also for connections and also for stuff that they don't tell me. but they're engineered to do that. So what they're doing now with these two poles is bringing the line to the opposite side of the street for that section. So there's already one pole on the south side of Shannock Hill Road between 6 and 8. And now you'll have two poles, one on either side of pole 7, which will just carry that load on that same side of the street.
And if I could ask, how does that relate to the potential tax credits, which we had discussed?
So as the utility company in the area, we're obligated, once the developer signs an interconnection agreement, the utility company is obligated to make that connection for them. So we're under contract to connect the solar development to the grid. And so if we're unable to do this, then we have an issue there. And if we're unable to make this connection, they're unable to connect to the grid as well. So this would, without these two poles, there would be a delay in connecting the solar project to the grid.
I thought it was forestalling the inevitable, with having to make the connection to that solar field. So it's unfortunate that that's to the point where, the town would be facing potential lawsuit or lost tax credits.
Yeah, and to be clear, that's not Rhode Island Energy. That would be something that would potentially come from the developer. But we would also have to act to try to advance the pole permits required to do the interconnection, because we're contractually obligated to complete that.
Thank you. So do we have any further discussion, or would you like to vote on it?
So there was a motion to reconsider. There was a second.
And it was
It was
voted.
approved.
So I'm looking for a motion to,
We have to vote on the reconsideration.
we
right?
did
We
that
did.
already.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve
Didn't vote on it.
JO P8 P6 on Shannock Hill Road
Point
petition.
of order, we didn't actually vote to approve the reconsideration.
Yes, we
I
did.
thought we did.
We did.
Yeah, okay, thank
We
you,
did.
thank you, Ms. Lees.
We did. We don't have a vote on record for the approval. We do have a vote on record for the reconsideration.
Sorry.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the JOP8 P6 on Shannock Hill Road petition WR number 30991420.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'll take a vote. How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Set. Now we have upcoming executive session.
President, motion to move into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island laws 42-46-5A2. Regarding the following petition, Superior Court Appeals of Tax on Property Preserved at Boulder Hills.
Second.
D.
Second.
Mr. President,
Discussion?
sorry, before we vote, I just want to say that I'm going to be voting against going into executive session because I would like to then afterwards adjourn, not because I want to discuss it publicly. Reason being is that any decision that we make tonight is still going to have to go before the council elect. So in my opinion, it's really just something that we're wasting time on because it's not something that's going to be before this council. It's going to be before the next council. And I'm really the only person that's going to be a part of that. So I feel like we're wasting town staff time, town solicitor time by going in and having this discussion. I do want to encourage you guys, if you have any feelings about this, to send it to the council elect via email. It can be private, discreet. That way we can still hear and value your opinions, but I don't feel like we need a meeting to make that happen.
100% agree, because this. It's a little, so,
Okay, so how do you vote? You good?
Aye.
right, Mr.
Well, there was a motion and a second,
Yeah.
please?
Mhm.
Okay, Mr. President, you taking a vote?
Yeah. You voted aye.
Wasn't ready, done with discussion.
Well, I didn't hear any,
Yeah.
so.
I was involved in that all-day mediation with Judge Flaherty and our attorney, Jim and Chris. There was a lot of valuable information that was brought out. And Ms. Wilcox was supposed to be there that day, but she wasn't. I did go. It was very, I think, invaluable to hear the discussions and whatnot. And I think it was part of this council. And I'd like to a little bit of, clarity and resolve with this before it's sent off to the next council.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
most with due respect, put it in a letter and send it to the new council. Take all your thoughts, all the information that you received and send it to the new council. This council has no bearing.
Well, we could, Mr. President, we could make a decision today if we wanted to.
I'd like to see if we can make a decision on whether or not we go to executive session first. So you voted yes?
Yes.
No,
No,
No. Mr. President,
yes.
motion to adjourn?
second.
All those in favor?